No, I guess when you mentioned that, I was thinking of a Serbian film. You
Yeah.
must have seen that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that is
I
probably the most. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think that's probably the most disturbing film I've seen. And I'm not sure if that's saying much in terms of all the movies that you've seen, but there are times when I recall scenes from it and I'm like, I need to do something to cheer myself up right now. Or like, I just can't go back to that place right now. And I've only seen it once. I told my friend one time, I was like, oh, it's a really crazy movie and I can't even tell you anything about it. I'll watch it with you. Luckily, that never happened because I regretted saying that because I thought about it and I was like, I never want to see this movie again.
well, I
And
I
I've told
actually
people, I was
have
like, oh, you want to see horror? Oh, watch this. Like, you can't take this. And I've
yeah.
recommended it
I have a
regretfully.
first run Blu-ray of that, which is probably worth about $300 now because it's out of print.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm close with the guy who owns Under Films, and he has all the rights to do the director's cut. They're actually in the middle of editing and doing all that stuff now. They're going to probably put like a 3-4 disc director's cut out of it. Um, but the
Oh,
funny thing is that,
there's more of it.
yeah, yeah. But I think there's like extra 20, 30 minutes of stuff that they have to edit down. Um,
Oh, man.
but the funny story is when I started my first go around with podcasting before I did Sadistic Cinema. Sadistic
Hmm.
Cinema was a spin-off of this other show.
Hmm.
Um, I started with this guy and he knew some stuff, but he wasn't as deep into it as I was. So
Okay.
we were talking about doing Sadistic Cinema. Our first episode, we did a film, and it started off just totally extreme horror. First show we did, we did a review of a movie called I let him pick it. It's called Shogun Sadism, which is crazy Japanese film. Um, so the second film, I was like, okay, we're going to do Serbian film. He
Oh,
had not
okay.
seen it. Me and him talked every day. We had a pretty close friendship. We talked every single day. So he goes to watch this
Okay.
movie. I don't hear from him for 3 days. And I'm like, finally, dude, like, what's going on? He's like, man, I was really questioning if I even wanted to like be your friend anymore. He was saying it in
Oh,
a half joking way,
right, right, right.
but he would never mention the film on any podcast going forward. It actually became an inside joke that we referred to the movie as the movie that shall not be mentioned because it
Wow.
was so traumatizing to him. He actually said to me, he's like, I didn't think I have a line, and that movie destroyed my line.
Dude, it definitely showed me that I had a line. That was that was what's the word? That was like a landmark movie in my life. When I saw that, I was like, "Holy crap!" I mean,
See, that's probably
obviously,
number two. That's probably number two to me. Um,
what's the name of
well,
your number one?
there's a trilogy called August Underground. Um,
I've seen. I think I've seen one of them.
the
I
most
don't know
famous
which one it was.
the most famous one is the second one is August Underground Mortem. Um, I'm close with the guy who made that, and like he's such an awesome guy. But the movie is the most vile shit. The reason that it messes with me because it's all done found footage and it's super realistic. He really went into the film because he was a FX artist and he just wanted to see
Hmm.
what he could do. It was his first series he ever made,
Yeah.
and it's just so fucking it's insanely terrible, which I like, but it's
I remember
most people
watching it
can't
and
watch it.
feeling disgusted. I remember seeing it and I was like, "Oh, that's like I didn't know like I don't am I it's hard for me to have an opinion about it when you tell me that he's such a good friend of yours. I feel like I'm gonna offend you or offend someone with by saying how I feel about it if it's not
Oh no, no,
if it
no.
doesn't side with you. Okay. It's sometimes like okay with certain types of horror because I've seen certain types of I guess what do we call it? Depraved horror where they just kind of Is am I using the right word? Is there a
Well,
genre like
they
that?
would call it extreme horror.
Is that okay? That would be extreme.
Yeah.
So when it falls into that category, like I just some of it it just makes me wonder like is is that a realm that's necessary to tread in or like is there a genre where this really belongs or is it just for a shock factor? Because
And you know
sometimes
what?
it's just like it's just to kind of get you or it, can you really base a whole movie around this kind of feeling?
And you know, I've had that discussion with people because some people get offended when things are done for shock purposes, you know, just for
Hmm.
that. You know, there's painters who paint great paintings just to fuck with people's heads. And
Hmm.
that doesn't make it any less art. And if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Sure.
I can understand why 99% of the population doesn't like it.
Right.
But I don't see anything wrong with just shocking your audience just to get a reaction.
Oh
That
well,
doesn't
yeah.
lessen it for me, but
Okay,
for a lot of people, it
going back
does
to what I was
lessen it.
saying, like that's my sure. Yeah, because for me, like I'm saying, like I can appreciate everything as a value of art. Like I understand, like it's just not my cup of tea,
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm okay with I'm okay with saying that it's my opinion. But like I said, I wanted to uh like I wanted to say before I said what I said that it's just my opinion. And I am aware that a lot of people like that sort of thing, or maybe there's a lot of people who feel like I do and don't like that sort of thing. And that's okay. Like I'm okay with people having their opinion, and I absolutely understand that it's an art form that could be popular or may not be popular, and that's okay. Like I'm okay with that. And of course, like you said, there's painters and musicians and all kinds of other art forms that have their either 1% or 99%, however they're
yeah.
accepted. It's but man, sometimes it just like I'd like to how many normal people have I met who are
Well, there's
like
certain things that
die hard for that kind of stuff. Like I just it really like I was like, "Oh, wow. Like that's amazing." But I appreciate the work that goes into it. Like I get it to that extent. It's like how much can I really irk people kind of thing. Like I like to think that way sometimes myself, but I don't think I could ever be as adventuresome to create a movie around that kind of, feeling like, oh man, just to be on set for some of that stuff, I can only imagine if I could stay there for the whole filming.
yeah, it's why it's fringe. And
Sure.
to tell you the truth, if everybody liked it, it'd probably take a lot of the joy out of the people who do like it.
Then it wouldn't be so edgy or like, right? I guess.
It's like if your mom started listening to punk rock. Punk rock is not as cool as it used to be.
Oh, this is the takeaway, right? This is the parental lessons. So in order to get our kids off of some of the stuff, we just have to think it's cool. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
this was a Simpsons episode at some point.